Now, the like today's lecture is based on mainly the second way of configuring Spring application. That is nothing but with the help of annotations. With that, starting with like Java annotations, so they are the special symbols that are added to the Java classes. It provides metadata about the classes. So by giving you an example, @override, that is one of the annotation that is commonly used, like you people used to see in the Java classes. So does anyone know about what is @override do? Anup or Simran, anyone?
ये मे बी कंपाइलर को बताता है कि वी आर ओवरराइडिंग अ मेथड, लाइक चेक करता है ये, है ना?
Yeah, so it's nothing but it checks whether uh, uh, mm, if we have written like @rate override on any method, then compiler will check if that method will be present in its parent or not. Is it really present in that or not? Because sometimes what will happen if we don't write @override and our base class have one method like big method like default play method, and in the child class if we are overriding that, we misspell that method. We have write instead of default play method, we have added some extra a or the spelling mistake. Then compiler will not throw an error because it is not a syntax issue. So in that cases, in the big classes, it is recommended to use @override. If we use @override in our the method where we have written the wrong name, then automatically compiler will check the base class. Then in that case, compiler will find that there is no such method with this name in the base class, in our parent class. Then compiler will throw us error that you are not overriding it. So that's how the annotations are very important. So the one important thing is at what time the annotations are processed. So most of the annotations are processed at compile time, as well as some special annotations are processed at runtime. I will not go in details. We will see during the demo. So one important thing is till now, what is the problem of the XML configuration? Can anyone tell? What is the problem while configuring the Spring application with the XML file? Any kind of disadvantage, maybe with respect to the user friendly? Any idea?
Maybe that we are specifying the actually bean names, means the class names with the IDs and whatever bean we are creating.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe I'm
partially
not
right.
sure.
Yeah, partially right. So it's okay if we have 5 to 10 beans. Let's think about a big project where we are having 100 beans. Then in our bean, that file that will become very large, and it is very difficult to manage. For example, if you want to change one bean, you want to add an attribute, you have to search in the long file in the 100 beans, among the 100 beans. So it will be not user friendly, na? You have to search it, and if you are having like 500 beans in a very large application, then you have to search each time, and then if you do anything, then those changes may be reflecting to the other place also. So it is not that type of user friendly. You can say it can XML can be verbose. So in order to reduce this disadvantage, or in order to overcome this, what is the suggestion? Configure your Spring Bean with annotation method. Okay, so let's see what is this annotation method. So
सर उसका मतलब क्या है वर्बोस?
verbose means complex, you can say complex for handling, like so many, for in case of 100 beans, so the file become very large, and at each time if someone wants to change just one bean, he has to search it first and then needs to make the changes. So it will become lengthy, you can say. So now in order to overcome this, we can use annotation methods. So what are the steps in the development process for configuring Spring application with annotation? So let's see one by one. So the step one is we need to create the Spring config file that we have already created, but inside that currently we are having the beans tag. So we need not any tags. We have to remove all the tags from the Spring configuration file. Just create an empty Spring configuration file. And then we just have to, second step, we just have to add one step to enable component scanning in Spring config file. Now, the one thing is, normally we know we are having the Java classes for bean. We have already, for example, coach, we have made one Java class. For any beans, we are having the Java classes. Got it, na? For any bean, we are having Java classes. So the idea is like that. We have to tell Spring that this Java class is a bean. So Spring found a way to telling the Spring container that this is my Java class that I want to use it is as a bean. So how to do that? You have to annotate that Java class with @component annotation. So you have to annotate that Java class with the help of with @component annotation, this annotation, simply. So there are no changes in the existing Java classes. Just we have to add @component at the top of it, at the top of class, basically at the class level. So this is the step 3, but it comes first. Now we have added those things. We have added components. So how the Spring knows that I have to search for the beans and how to search for the beans? For that, I have to enable, by default, all the settings in the Spring are disabled. So you have to enable it. So component scanning, so that Spring will scan each the components and register those components with the Spring container. So in order to do this, we have to do the second step. That is nothing but enable component scanning in Spring config file. For this, we have to just write a simple line, simple tag that I will tell you in the next slide. But now you have to do these 3 steps. And the 4th step is nothing but retrieving the beans from Spring container. It involves, like previously we have used class path XML application context. So like that only, we have to retrieve the bean from the container and we have to use it. That we will see in the demo, like how to do it. Now, coming to in detail about component scanning, what is mainly component scanning is? In the component scanning, Spring will search and scan your Java classes for the special annotations. Spring will see whether @component annotation is there or not, or other Spring annotations are there or not. So that is how this component scanning like works. And also it automatically registers beans in Spring container. And why the registration of beans in Spring container is very important? Does anyone tell me?
It's because a container need to know which classes we have to initialize actually.
Yeah, because container only has the main functionality, na IOC and DI. So container has to maintain the life cycle. So that's why we have to register it, na? Then only it will manage the life cycle of the beans, na? So that's why it's important to register your beans in the Spring container. And that you can do with the help of first enabling the component scanning, second adding @component to your Java classes. That's it. That's our 2 main steps. Okay. Now we will see these 2 steps. So your step 1 is in your configuration file, in the beans tag, you have to just write this. Previously we are having all the beans here, but now you have to just write this. You just have to just tell Spring that do a component scanning and my base package is this. Base package is nothing but there can be various packages in the Java project, na? So when you give any package, for example, I will give com.ashish. So what it will do, it will go to the Ashish package and it will search all exact packages as well as its child packages, like com.ashish.play, com.ashish.flow, like that. So it will search the main package as well as all the like child packages of that sub base package. So that's why here it is always base package will come. Okay. So that is the step 1 where we have to configure configure component scanning in our Spring application. Now in the step 3, what we have to do, we have to annotate our class. This, for example, baseball coach. So we have to annotate with @component, or we can annotate with @component bean ID. So we can do with both. So what is the difference between both? In the one we are giving the ID. This is the same ID which we used to give na in bean ID is equal to myFS. This is the same ID. So what happen if we don't give ID? We will give just like that. Then the Spring will form this kind of thing. If we forget to give the ID, then the default bean ID will be for the tennis coach class. It will rename it this to this. The first letter will become small. That's how the default will work. So if we use this @ component, then it will give the default ID. Spring will assign a default ID to this class. That is nothing but this. And if we'll give the ID this, then we mention the ID that will be used for the unique ID for that bean. Okay. So after that, now we will see the demo. So I have to change the facets. So I'm making 2 source packages. Okay, just 1 minute. So I'm adding one configuration file. Let's copy the same configuration file. We will change it. So first step is we have to add the libraries now. Always first we have to add the Spring 5 libraries to the base path, to the class path basically. So let's go to the Java. Where is the build path here? Build path with there. Add external jars. These are all the libraries we have added to the base path. So this is the step 1. I'm making a new project. Now we have to add, we will add one configuration file. So let's copy the same configuration file. Just delete it. It will. Shit. Rename. Rename. So now comes to the step 1. So what is the step 1? In the beans we have to enable the component scanning. So here there shouldn't be no bean, only we have to enable component scanning. So let's enable it, component scan, this one. And here we have to write base package. So I will give here this is coming different. So, let's give it. You'll see this. I have given the source as a default package. So that is the step 1. So now let's go to the step 2. What we have to do in the step 2, we have to make one Java class, and then we will annotate it with I am again making one Java class, normal class. Or what we can do, we will copy the same classes to make our time. I am copying these both classes inside this folder. So let's see what is the error here. Okay, there is no fortune service, so I am removing it for just now. Okay, so now we are having one configuration file where we have enabled the component scanning, and now I have created 2 classes, and in my cricket coach class I have to annotate it with @component. Okay, and in my coach class also it is an interface, so its object cannot be instantiated, so we need not to it's not important to annotate the interface, so only annotate the class. So I have annotated this class. So now what is our step 3? We just need to access it. So just copy, I will copy the main method again. I have given ID this, so I will give the same ID to my this class. Bracket this. Okay. So in the main app, again the play method is called. So let's see. Let's try to run it. Whether we will get any error or we will be able to run it successfully. Okay, this is not from this class. Just try to run as Java application. Okay, prohibited package name Java. Why it is not making as a default package? I don't know. Okay, let's change this package name to someone else. Refactor rename. There is some problem with my Eclipse today. Okay, I have to make it a source folder. That's why it's continue. Okay, great. So can anyone tell why it is not finding this application.xml? Does anyone have any kind of idea?
Yeah, because it is not in that default SRC main Java actually.
Yeah, because it is not in source main Java folder. That's why it is not finding it. So let's try to do one thing. So also we will came to know. So it is in my project folder now. So let's try to give there. There is a syntax that we have to write here. Yeah. Now it is finding the application.xml file. But now this error is coming. Let's see what is this. It is not finding the bean definition for my coach. Okay. Why is it so? Let's check. Because it is not able to scan. So let's see how to handle the errors also. So what is this error is telling? It is not able to find this bean with ID this. That means our component scanning is having some problem. That means we are having this problem with this because our base package is incorrect. Because now we are not having source main Java. So let's correct this base package. So let's go to /. See, // always refer to the current folder because my application.xml is also in that folder. So all the classes in the same folder. So I have mentioned just // here. And for the application in the, sorry, and in my main app, for this class path XML application context, I have to mention / current folder / my project / application.xml. Because it will always get this path till source. Source is the root path. Root path is still pointing to always source. So I have to tell that go to my project and then go to application.xml. So that's why I have mentioned this whole path here. So Anup, like got it what I am saying?
Yes.
So we have done here only just 3 steps. Our first step is configuring Spring application file, enabling component scanning there. And in the component scanning, we have to write a base package. Base package is where the component scanning will start from the base package till all their parents, all their child. And our step 2 is creating the Java class and annotate it with @component annotation. That is the step 2nd. You can give the ID also, or if you don't give the ID, what will be the default ID? Cricket coach with first ch small. And our step 3 is nothing but just use to access it. So that is, we can access it with the same method. This step is exactly the same, whatever is the old class path XML application context, then context.getBean. So there is no difference. So in this way, we have seen how to configure the Spring application with this Java configuration, with the Java annotations basically.